Welcome to yet another power cross yoga class. Yay! We're gonna get warm, we're gonna get strong, we're gonna relax at the end, but also have some food for thought. If you watch this somewhat real time, it's about to become Easter very soon. And of course, this video is then themed a little bit around Easter. But I'll get more into all the topics at the end of our class today. So take a seat and let's begin. I hope you sit comfortably and can close your eyes, tall spine. And connect with your breath again for just a short moment. Soften everything in your body if you feel like you're holding on to some sort of tension. And before we start moving, I'll invite you to surrender what you feel like you need to surrender. So with your eyes closed, you can turn your palms upwards like empty hands and put into your hands, or God hands, what you need to let go of. Any worries or people or things that is just taking your brain space. And then you can either lift your hands up, like you're lifting up to God, or you can kind of drop it out and maybe picture that you're emptying your hands into God's hands and allowing yourself to let go. That it is Easter time. Maybe there's this sentence that it is done, it is completed. There's nothing you need to carry around as we move and breathe during this class. You can let it go. And you're welcome to sigh out. Sit still for a bit more or move in circles. So you're moving, not your shoulders actually, but it looks like your shoulders are moving in a circle around your hip. If you're seated cross-legged like me, you can hold on to your knees so you don't lean all the way back and fall back. Do a couple of circles the other way around. And remember, if there is something that we do throughout this class today that you don't like or can't do or something like that, don't be annoyed by the fact that you choose not to do it or do something else. Just take that as a part of your practice to be who you are and with that body that is yours. Sit or don't move in circles anymore, but do some free seated postures, whatever you feel like your body needs to do. Remember your wrists. And slowly coming to downward facing dog. As this is a power class, I believe that most of you are familiar with yoga, so there will be some cues and stuff that I won't share as much as I maybe do in a slow class. So for example, down dog. Lift your hip up, walk your dog, stretch your spine. And let's try to roll into plank. No need to follow the breath, just find your plank. Gaze a little bit forward, a little bit of a micro bend in the knees, and then roll through the shoulders back into down dog. One more time. Coming back again slowly. Soften everything. Big breath in and out. And then walk your feet to the top of the mat. With that distance in between your feet, fold forward. We're going to warm up the big muscle groups, which means the thighs and glutes and stuff. Bring your hands forward in your chair. Then rise up into your high mountain, arms up over your head. Go for a twist, so you keep your hip parallel with the short end of the mat, but turn your shoulders to your right side, arms down. Then reach the arms up overhead, high mountain. Sit down in your chair. From here, lift the heels off just a tad. Sink them down again. Rise up. Go for a twist for the other way. So when I'm twisting to my left side, I'm really purposely trying to move my left hip to the front of the mat, so I'm not leaning my hip that way. Back to center, sit down. Slowly come up on your heels. Don't go too high. Come down again. Inhale, reach up, twisting right side. Maybe you exhale. Inhale, arms up. Sit low, maybe lower than you did before. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, rise up. Twisting to your left. Just one more time. Sit down, chair. Slowly, heels off. I'm going a little bit quicker than the breath. Maybe. Rise up. Right side. Reach up. Chair. Heels off. Gets into our calves. Down again. Last twist to your left side. Awesome. Fold forward. Bring your right leg to the back of the mat. And bend the front knee there. And you can open up, moving a little bit forward and back to what I called wide pyramid. Use your blocks if you feel like the floor is super far away. Then step the front foot back, plank. Go for your vinyasa. Know your options of knees. Lower down. Cobra. Take the shoulders back from ears, tuck the toes under, bring yourself back to down dog. Then take your right leg forward, and then that lunge with hands down, and then wide pyramid opposite side than before. Opening up your hip. And next time your knee is stacked over the ankle, you can step back, plank, and again, vinyasa. Try to keep your hip a little bit higher than you maybe normally would, so you're not dropping down like this when you go from plank to low plank. Lifting your chest, maybe going for your up dog, and then downward facing dog. All right, let's get more into the core. Right leg up, bend the knee, and bring the knee to the right elbow in plank. All right, lift the knee up and back again. You can extend the leg out, three-legged dog, but then again go forward in your plank. Try to lift the knee up towards the right armpit, so higher than the elbow if possible. And lift the right knee up again. Go for a plank, but this time reach the knee to your left elbow, so crossing it. Lifting up again, and guess where we're going? We're going to try to reach right knee to left armpit to some degree, so really high up. Awesome. Bring the right leg up and back. Last time, trying to take a pause for our wrists. Bring the right foot to the top of the mat. High lunge. And then go super low. It doesn't mean that you have to go for this back bend. Just bend the back knee a little bit, but try to really get this thigh parallel with the floor. If you feel like going for a bit of a more core or thigh strength here. Stay. And then bring your hands into prayer in front of your chest. Lean forward and shoot the hands in front of you with the palms still together. Bring them back. Twist, not twist, but open up your chest towards your left side. So your right elbow and knee is in there. Turn the fingers away from you. And one more time, shoot the arms out. Bring them back. And then we're going for a twist. And then again, turn your fingers away from your chest as you move to your right side. Coming back. Bring your hands down, step back. Downward facing dog. Optional vinyasa. Plank. Keep that hip high. Low plank without grounding the shoulders first. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Take a breath or two. Left leg. Reach it up. Bend the knee. And then draw the left knee to the left elbow. Lift your leg up again. Welcome to extend it out before you then bend it and bring it to the left armpit. So really, really go high with that knee, feeling your glutes. Now to the right elbow. And then to your right armpit. You should get warm by now. And then your left foot to the top of the mat. Gaze forward. Stand up tall. And again, maybe you get some more distance in between your feet, going low with this back knee slightly bended. Bring your hands in front of you. Now I would encourage you to really have a little bit of engagement in your core as we lean forward. So tuck the navel in to some degree and then shoot the fingers away from the crown of your head. Bring them back. Turn away from the midline towards your right side. Again, fingers pointing out. Reach and extend the arms out. Bring them back. Do you feel your thigh? I do. Twisting, fingers away. Shoot the arms out to the degree that you can. Bring them back. And this time, step to the front. Fold forward. Maybe shake your head. Sit down in your chair. More of that beautiful thigh leg work thing. Arms up overhead. Lift the right leg up. Keep both knees bended even though you have your right knee a little bit higher. So kind of a broken chair situation here. And then bring the right foot all the way back to a warrior 3 variation. Now either airplane or if you can grasp the hands behind you and still try to balance. Do a variation of a binding here. Try that. bending your standing leg, release the fingers, coming into eagle pose. So right leg crosses over the left like this, or the binding. If you want to have your arms in as well, your right elbow is going to be at the bottom. Lean slightly forward with a strong bend in the legs. Release. Let the right foot move back. Lift, keeps track. Plank. Ooh, low plank. Cobra up dog, inhale. Downward facing dog. Before we do this sequence standing on the other side, we're going to have a little bit more arm strength, core strength. So move into plank. And maybe you'll choose to do some parts of this on your knees. We're going to lower down to the low plank, but do it slowly. So we're going to hover over the floor when I've counted down from 10. So elbows in, lower down, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Move up, shoot through the triceps and step back to down dog. Did you feel that? Jump or walk to the top of the mat. Fold forward. I hope you can sense that I am trying to shift in between using our legs, our arms, so we don't fatigue just one part of our body completely. One more time, chair pose. Try to stay stable with your hip as you lift the left knee up. Breathe. You can do that grasping of the hands behind you. If you feel like you want to explore a little bit more, you can also do prayer pose behind you. So hands behind you, take the shoulders up and back, as then you bring your left leg back. Release, coming into eagle pose, wrapping left leg around once or twice. Left elbow at the bottom. Make sure you lean slightly forward with your spine. So there's much of chair pose in this one. Squeeze the inner thighs. Lift the elbows away from your chest, your hands away from your face, and shoulders down. And then release. Ooh, step the left foot must be back, downward facing dog. Moving into plank, a very different variation of plank. To take a little bit of a pause for our wrists, you can take plank on your elbows this time. And then we're going to bring the knee up towards the elbow. It's a bit more difficult when you're down here. So let's see how that's going to go. So you can start with your right. Bring your right knee up to the elbow. Bring it back. Other side. Lift the knee high towards the sky, but promise me that you have that super engagement in your core. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your knees down, child's pose, maybe some distance in between your knees. Catch your breath. The story of Easter. You most likely know some of it or all of it. I don't know. But you will know that Jesus went on a cross. And after Being there, he died, and he was laid in a tomb. And on the third day, he rose again. But just think back, his friends, the disciples, the women that were following the disciples around as well, did not know that. They thought he was in the tomb until they discovered he was not. So that's going to elaborate on that a little bit later. Bring your hands to the front. We're going to explore the hip a little bit. I'm going to turn here so you most likely better can see. Find a stance in a tabletop position. Then bring your right knee out to the side. And if you feel like extra padding, do that. Bring the right foot there out to the side or even back behind you. If that works better like this, three-legged dog. Then turn the toes to the right side and make sure you don't lean in the pelvis there. Strong core. Bring the right foot all the way as best as you can to the front. Try to extend it and see if you can kind of dip the toes down there somewhere. Lift it up again and going for, I've heard this called bird dog, where the toes is pointing down. All right, that's what we're going to do a couple of times. So lift the right leg up, turn the toes out without moving left knee and hip. Bring the toe as much as you can to the front. Being mindful not to overdo this. Lift up. Let the toes point down again as you bring yourself back into bird dog. 2 more times. Move the toes out. Breathe. Lift high. See how far forward you can go without overdoing things. Last one. Ooh, and bring it down. And you can always shake things out. There is no problem whatsoever in holding your fists down here if you feel like it. We're not done with using our wrists yet. So if you want to pause with your wrist, you can come up on your fist. Left leg. Navel in. Awesome. Toes out. Bring it to the front. And if you're way more mobile or strong, just continue working here. And one side, it's an important thing to discover. If moving your glute med, as we're here and other great stuff, is unfamiliar territory for your hip, this is a very, very difficult movement. Last dip. And bring your knees down. Relax any tucked mat or blankets, move it aside. Down dog. One big breath. Walk your hands back to your feet at the back end of the mat, and then we're gonna be a little bit playful here with different things. Lift your right knee up. Either hold onto your right knee with your hands, or if you want to go for that full extension, you can grab your toe and extend the leg out as much as you feel like. Pluck the right shoulder into the girdle. And then you can slowly release. See if you can hold the leg there for a second or two. And then step just 1 foot there or two to the front. Bring your hands into prayer pose and lean forward. We're going to do half moon. So slowly lift the left leg up, the back leg. Bring both hands down to support as you open up your hip, mindful. When you have opened your hip, the toes pointing out to your left side, you might want to bring your left arm up overhead as well. Standing here, we can be a little bit playful. Try to see what happens with your balance if you bend and extend the left leg you have lifted up there. Keep stacking the hips. If you're down, exploring both hands down for support as you close your hip, both feet down by each other. Sit down in your chair. And sit low, sit low, sit low. And sit really low, maybe not coming all the way down. Keep it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Standing tall again. Catch your breath. Left leg up, hold onto your knee and let that be it, or do your extended toe hand thing. See if you can get your spine tall towards the sky. And still breathe. And then let go. See if you can hold the leg as high as possible for a second. And then slowly drop it down. Oh. Hands in prayer. Right leg up and back. We're going through a variation of Warrior 3 before we transition into Half Moon. So I'd like you to have your fingers down and then open up your hips so you have support. You're not balancing on the hip that you're opening. Toes pointing to the right side. Avoiding crossing the legs if you have that tendency. Welcome to bend and stretch the leg. One last time. Both fingers down. Land the feet, both of them, at the back end of your mat. Your down dog. And as it is a power yoga class, before we go lower down on the mat, I'm going to invite you to do a variation of push-ups. So I have just my thumb on my mat to hold on to the mat. Bring yourself forward in this wide stance plank variation and do a few push-ups on your knees or your toes. Maybe you count 10. Elbows coming slightly back. Should get warm. Fatigued in your shoulders. And maybe you are with your last one now. Bring yourself back to child's pose, arms by your side. I believe that we do have things in our lives that needs to die. Things that we need to let go of because seasons change or you change. Maybe it's an idea of a certain dream that you've had, or a certain marriage, or a certain way you're supposed to look. Maybe you need to let that die. I know it can be painful to hear, because we have identity connected to these things. And it's a sorrow, it's grief to let go of things that we love and hold on to. I know this is a deep question to ask in the middle of a power yoga class, but maybe you go as deep as you feel like. If this all of a sudden hit home, you're welcome to pause and just write in your journal or pray or what you need to do. But I think it's important sometimes to let go of things that we're holding on to and let them die. Put them in the tomb. Turn around and then come back on your back. Bring your hands behind your head with your elbows out. And then navel in, crunch your head up here. If when we're doing this, you feel like you're tensing in your neck and stuff, just put your head down. But if you want a little bit more, bring your knees up, 90-degree angle or around there. And then dip one foot down with the lumbar, lower part of the spine, really tightly connected to the mat. Dipping left and right. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your feet down, your head down, arms by your side. Either what we call bridge pose or full wheel. So bridge pose can be coming up here and in variation of it, lifting through the heels, is to put your elbows down and lift the chest a little bit higher, like you're almost keeping your body weight elevated on your heels as well as your elbows, right? So that can be your thing. If you want to go for full wheel, slowly come down, bring your hands by the ears, fingers pointing towards the feet. If possible, don't let your elbows drop completely out to the side. And then lift up on your head or all the way up. Slowly come down again, in whatever position you're in. You might want to hug your knees. Bend your knees again. Maybe you hold on to your kneecap or your knee joint behind you, or just let your hands hover. We're going to roll forth and back. So into a boat pose variation, and then roll back. But picture your body glued together. So it's a fun core exercise. You can always make it a little bit flatter if you want more core exercise, or extend your leg higher. Next time you're up, stay up, chest forward, and then maybe crossing yourself, trying to balance, but make it as difficult as possible. So find a posture, I almost can't speak as I do this, where you're really challenging your core, being playful here, finding new patterns, new things. And when we bury things, there is space for new things to emerge. And you can take a seat. Yoga squat, yogi squat, whatever you want to call it. You stay where you are, but bring your feet out. Maybe go closer than with the feet or wider. Knees are pointing out in the direction of the toes. Sit down like this. Stay here. Or go for your crane crawl, whatever works for you pose, where you have your hands down, shoulder width distance. Bend your elbows. Take the knee joint or the kneecap up on your tricep. Gaze a little bit forward. See if you can balance. Maybe you'll lift your toes off. let go, coming back to yoga squat. Bring your hands down on the floor. After yoga squat, come down on your belly. Hands stacked. And then lift your forehead up together with your chest to the degree that you can. And then gaze towards your right side. Maybe bring the arm out like you're grabbing something out there. Bring it back to center and lower down. Of course, this on the other side as well. Keep moving and switching. Happily, Easter is not just about the tomb, about things dying. The most important thing, at least I think so, in the story of Easter is the power of resurrection and new life. So things might have to die. But then new things will come. Pause, bring your forehead on your hands. Slowly take a seat. And if this next posture, cow face it's called, is not really accessible, just find a simple cross-legged position and lean forward. You'll get the same. So don't force yourself into something not really helpful for your body. You can bring, if you want to try, your right leg down there, bend it, and try to see if you can kind of stack the left on top. You can see mine is not completely, but that's fine. I get a stretch here, for sure, on the outside of the hip. So both sitting bones on the floor. And when you feel like you can relax like this or cross-legged and in a position, you can always lean a little bit forward. If you want your arms involved as well, if you can feel that it's doable, you can bring your left elbow up and behind your right coming back. Grab the fingers or use a strap to connect the fingers. Relax and breathe. Slowly take a seat, release. Release your legs. If you're cross-legged, look which leg is at the front or at the bottom or how it is, because we're going to do opposite side now. So if you're with me, your left knee is now, or leg there is now at the bottom. No need, in my opinion, to pull the heels in. If you feel more comfortable doing that, you're welcome, but you don't have to pull the heels into the hip. Notice that you're not leaning onto one side only. Of course, you have more body weight on your left hip. If you want that arm stretch, bring your right arm up this time. The disciples that were following Jesus, they needed Jesus to die. They had a view and a faith that needed to die for something new to be resurrected, to grow up. And maybe there is a view in your faith, in the way that you view God or the church or something else, Christian people maybe, that needs to die. Because it's not serving you anymore, it's not healthy anymore, you're somewhere else. And then the new thing can come. The angel said, he is not here. He is risen. Let go. Let's go for the inner thighs. If you rather stretch the inner thighs and not the hamstrings only, you can do butterfly instead of this one. But if you want to sit like me, go ahead, toes pointing out, go narrow, go wider. Your body is deciding, and then lean forward. So Jesus was still Jesus, but still different when he rose. Some of the disciples had a hard time recognizing him, but they still recognized him. So a little bit contradictory. But just think about that. Are you open for new things to blossom in your life? Sitting up again, and then come down on your back. You might want to hug your knees in. I'll guide you in a spinal twist with a stretch in your thigh. It's not, I would say, the most comfortable and relaxing spinal twist. So you can do it, and then after a while I can say you can let go of the bottom leg there. But maybe you take a look, because there's so much left and right here, so maybe just look. You can maybe extend the right leg out, take the left knee, bend it and cross it over. This one we know. With your right hand, hold onto your bended knee. Now this is the thigh stretch. If you can reach the toes there, you can bend the bottom leg, pull the heel towards the buttocks that it is belonging to, and this is it. And again, trying to relax. If you feel like you want to let go of the bottom foot, you can do that. Release what you're holding on to. If it was a deep stretch from your spine, I'll encourage you to take a breath or two on your back before you go to the other side. But other than that, when you're ready, move to this spinal twist variation on the other side, holding on to now the other bottom foot. Try to pay attention that your spine is elongated with the long end of the mat. You're not rounding it. And I want to say a prayer as we're resting here. And you can listen or you can pray along. God, I just want to ask you to help us to be open to new things. to the life of the resurrected Jesus. Give me the courage to bury and let go of old belief systems, maybe of pride, unforgiveness. And help me receive through grace the power of Easter, the power that won over life and death, so that new things can emerge. Let go. Just a short time in rest and a little bit of a visual meditation. So find your resting posture. Soften your whole face and your jaw. And you're welcome to picture this small seed of a flower. Maybe picture it in your hand. It can be pretty in itself. Maybe it's not, but it can be. This seed. But it won't change if you keep holding it there in your hand. You need to put it in the ground. You need to bury it. And what was once a seed, picture it down in the ground there, has to die, has to get broken for the new things to come forth, for the green sprout to power through the ground and rise to the surface, for the roots to shoot down. But what a beautiful flower it can become, this small seed. And maybe you need to cry. Maybe you need to let some tears fall from your cheeks, your eyes, because it's not easy to let the seed go. But trust that God will take you by the hand so that the new things can blossom. He is not here. He is risen. Please stay down if God is moving you or something is happening, I just press pause on the video and stay with whatever is going on. If you're ready, you can move your fingers and your feet and everything. Maybe hug your knees or stretch or sigh out. And when you're ready, take a seat. May God bless you. From my heart to yours, thank you so much.